Hi, good evening all. I am Rohit Pawar. I welcome you to the RA weekly progress meetings number 56. So this is our journey of last 1 year. We are continuously meeting on the every Saturday. So here is the agenda of the 56 weekly meeting. Today we are starting with giving overview of our weekly progress meetings and RA initiatives which we have started in the last year and working on the same. So next will be the project consultancy presentation by Professor Lokesh R. Patil, who is Assistant Professor at Department of Mechanical Engineering, RIT. Then after this session, we are having the open discussion forum and question answer sessions and concluding remarks. So basically, RIT Alumni Advisory Hub is an independent organization. We have formed this organization in the last year, May 2020. So our vision is to build a globally active alumni network to run sustainable and high impact programs in collaborative environment with alumni student and RIT Institute. So we started this by a thought of giving back to the institute, giving back to the students and alumni to alumni. So these are our major stakeholders, basically institute, students and alumni. So RIT Alumni Advisory Hub is working to give the benefits to the institution in form of helping in the curriculum formation, organizing guest lectures. Then for the students, RIT Alumni Advisory Hub have organized the various mentoring sessions. Task Force members, Mr. Yogesh Asabnis, Mr. Rajesh Ulugde, and our Task Force members, Ramesh Jadhav sir, Kunal Jadhav, are helping students and the teams of the O-Robot and Team Nequit in building their projects, building their teams. And Alumni to Alumni, our Business Innovation Forum and Business Network Forum are working to give them benefits to alumni in terms of the business. So we are having the RA Task Force, basically, which is the nodal agency, which is for agency to formulate, monitor, and advise the policies for all the forums. So under RA Task Force, we are having the various communities like Business Network Forum. As earlier explained, Business Network Forum is working to give the business network leads to the alumni to alumni. Business Innovation Forum, then RA Overseas Community, then RA Media Team Cultural Forum, and Training and Mentoring and Communication Forum. These are the various communities of the RIT Alumni Advisory Hub. So these are the key highlights of the journey of the RA of the last year. Till today, we had 55 weekly meetings. This is our 56th weekly meeting. Then we have organized the 10 webinars based on the new skills and the technologies. For these organizing this 55 weekly meeting and 10 webinars, we had 160 plus preparatory and review meetings amongst our task force members. These are the highlights of the communities. So RA Business Forum, under RA Business Forums, 13 plus business presentations done in the RA weekly meeting. Approximately 9 crore plus business have been generated through RA Business Network Forum. Mr. Sujit, Mr. Ramesh are working under RA Business Forum and leading from the front. So in RA Business Innovation Forum, e-bicycle project is the current initiative, and RIT Alumni Advisory Hub Business Innovation Forum have developed one prototype of e-bicycle at RIT, and the testing of this bicycle is going on. So till today, there has been 3 rounds of testing have been done, and it is working fine. Another project of wind turbine is also taken by the RA Business Innovation Forum. These are the initiatives taken by RA Overseas Community, Mr. Yogesh, Mr. Amit leading this overseas community. And under overseas community, till today, we have organized the various sessions like higher study in USA, then how to make mentoring success, then session on supply chain management, voice of faculty, and education and life in Canada. So these are some initiatives taken by RA Overseas Community. Raha Media team. So we are also having the Raha Media team. We are working to create a visibility of Raha activities on the social media for platforms, and our aim is to involve more and more students and alumni uh, in the Raha activities. So we are having presence in multiple social media platforms. In LinkedIn, we are having 1,355 plus members. On Facebook, we are having more than 5,000 members. These are our WhatsApp groups in which we are circulating these new business forum leads. Also, we are sharing the job opportunities in these groups. We are also having on the YouTube. So all the sessions and webinars which have been organized by Raha, we are uploading on the YouTube channel so that those who have missed that session, they can just get benefits from there. We are also having on the Twitter. So this is the overview of the last meeting. In the last week, we had Honorable Mr. Dilip Nalode sir, who is a freelance licensed career coach in the upskilling construction and who is having more than 36 years of experience in the civil engineering and construction industry. So in the last meeting, we had organized interview of Mr. Dilip Nalode, and interview has been taken by the Professor D.S. Patil sir. So it was a very well session. In this interview, Mr. Dilip Nalodi shared his experience about the construction industry. Mr. D.S. Patil asked him the questions regarding the work culture of industry, then how to get the job for the civil engineering pressure, how to sustain and stabilize ourselves in the civil engineering industry. So Mr. Dilip Nalodi have given answers very in polite manner, and it was a very helpful session for the civil engineering students, alumni, and faculty also. He is ready to support Raha as well as RIT Civil Engineering Department in every possible way in upcoming future. Today we are having Mr. Vijay Mane from the batch of the 2001 Mechanical Engineering. So I would like to request Mr. Ramesh Yadav to please give the brief introduction of Mr. Vijay Mane.
Thank you, Rohit, for such a nice Raha journey introduction. And I would like to welcome all our attendees who are regularly attending. And this is the 56th successful meeting. I'm very happy to introduce one of our alumni, and we can say proud alumni, Mr. Vijay. And he's been known for, as a business strategic and expert in oil and gas industry. So I would like to welcome him on this Raha platform. Vijay, are you there?
Yes, sir, Ramesh, sir, I am here only.
Yeah. So about Vijay, I would like to advise Vijay about just 1 minute introduction of yourself, because we are going to have a detailed your success story and how you built up your own empire in oil and gas, which is basically a challenging task, and how you are going to handle it and all that. We are very eager to hear about you, which will be taken up in our business forum platform as per our dividation and sharing what we have decided as per our plans. So Vijay Mane, please introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you, Ramesh, sir. And first of all, let me congratulate all of you, the task force members, for taking this activity. I'm really surprised that how I miss all these 55 sessions earlier. And today only, because of our communication, I came to know about this. It is really amazing and one of the best concept I think you guys have started up, which will be really good to support all our community people and to support the society members. This is definitely in line with the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, the Startup India. So I think this is one of the thought process you had taken care. I'm really thankful to you. So as rightly you said, I'm a 2001 batch out mechanical engineer. Then I moved to Mumbai, did my first job was in the very small organization, started career at 1,300 rupees per month salary, joined the Mahanagar Gas. I stayed there with almost 10 years. Then I left, I joined the Bhagyanagar Gas in Hyderabad, where I was handling almost 1,200 crore projects as a project manager. Did my the best activity there. I led the 180 kilometer pipeline, commissioned 168 kilometer pipeline out of 2 years. I got the opportunity with all my experience to join the ADNOC, is one of the third largest oil producing company in the world. So I was almost 9 years in the Abu Dhabi, got to learn many things about the upstream oil and gas business. And way back in 2019, we started our own business to support the industry, to provide our knowledge base, what we learned from last 20 years. As of now, we are representing the six product from the six different countries. We have the best innovative solutions for the oil and gas products. I am proud to inform you that we have four products which no one in India supply the product this type of. So we are the only one in India to supply that type of products, and which there is a good customer base. We have two manufacturing units, one in Mumbai, one in Pune, and we are going to expand it very soon, shortly.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank
that's
you so
great.
much, and I hope to looking forward all you guys to meet sometimes after Corona.
Yeah, sure, Vijay. I think I will take you on our business forum platform, and your active involvement is definitely required. And
Yes,
your
sir.
guideline also help us. Our all we are having 250 our business alumni on that platform.
Yes, sir.
Soon I will introduce.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
And
much.
thank you very much for attending meeting. And we expect to continue your association. Thank you.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
Rohit,
Thank you.
please continue.
yeah. Thank you, Vijay sir, and we welcome you on the RA platform. So we are hoping for your involvement in the RA activities. So
Thank you, sir. Thank
we will
you.
arrange just one our session in our next meeting on your business presentations under Business Network Forum.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So moving ahead, today we are having Mr. Lokesh Patil, and we are having his presentation on project consultancy. So I request Professor Manzoor Mirza, please give the introduction of Mr. Lokesh Patil and his project work.
Okay, thank you very much, Rohit. Thank you, Vijay Mane sir. Actually, we had circulated your success story, which is published in the newspapers,
Yeah.
and I tried contacting you actually at that time. I sent you the message. Yes, but thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
To dear friends, today we have a team from Mechanical Engineering Department. Professor A.M. Mullah, Senior Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department. Then Lokesh Patil sir and Sheetal Laute sir. So all they have completed their post graduations and now pursuing their PhDs. But these are very important pillars of our Mechanical Engineering Department, and they are working actually wonderful job in consultancy projects. So dear friends, actually nowadays in our Mechanical Engineering Department, you can see a lot of research work is going on. Actually, we hear about the foreign universities where actually all the development, research and development is taking place in universities, but it is rarely happening in our region. But in RIT, you can see when you will visit my laboratory theory of machines, where me and Lokesh is sitting, and his cabin, we will see actually how these research activities are taking place. And Lokesh and Sheetal, and actually a whole team of RIT along with the students are working on lot of innovative projects. We organized one session before that also, and it was actually appreciated by all the alumni and the students. So we arranged this second session. So without taking much time, I would like to request the team of Lokesh, A. Mullah sir and Sheetal Laute sir to take the charge. Lokesh sir, please.
Yeah, I will share it. Yeah, is it visible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, please go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Mirza sir, and thank you, Raha organizers. This is a pleasure for me to come again for presenting myself and showcasing the knowledge of and the technology of what the different departments of RIT can do. So part one is already done, and I guess this is a part two in which, just because of lack of time, we could not able to complete in a few weeks back or few months back. So I will start with this. So before I start, actually, I want to tell you a story that why we are doing this kind of activities at RIT. Most of the times, the faculties are being criticized. Engineering faculty, especially, has been criticized um, uh, that the lack of knowledge or lack of practical experiences. And generally, when this industry, when this particular faculty goes into the industry, the way that industry people look to the engineering faculty is, I guess, very different. I'm not talking about IITs and IITs, but I really wanted to change the face of the RIT's faculty, wherein we are not just people like to showcase our knowledge through theoretical lectures or some practical that is happening in RIT. We really wanted to serve the different industries, and I know that different parts of the this technical field has different I will say skill sets. So what skill sets we have is we could do some research, we could do proper literature survey with a scientific manner and all, and we could bring the ideas into practice. I guess most of the innovations that you see has been started overseas and in India also in engineering colleges, and later on it has been converted into a particular product. The best example I will say is ANSYS software, where it's totally developed in different engineering organizations, and then it has been commercialized all over the world, and you see the success of it. So once I was there in industry, and like I was asking to few of the industry friends that I wanted to go for MTech. He said that why are you going for MTech? Because after MTech, mostly people go for a teaching job. I said, I don't know whether I will go to teaching job or whether I will continue the industry, but surely I will do some innovations. I will do something for the community actually. And surely today after the presentation, you will see that the success story of RIT, especially our mechanical engineering department, where we proved ourselves and we are trying our best to serve this particular whole industry. So we are moving around the different industrial parts around us. There is Sangli and Kolhapur, which is best known for foundry areas, and there is huge lot of projects are there, but no one to solve those kind of problems. So we identified that gap over there. We went to different industries. We went to different medical institutes also, because since last presentation I told about all the industrial projects, and we have been seeing there is a slowdown in the industries. So little bit we are not taking care of, we are not solving some industrial problems because of there is no problem statement at industry ends, but there is definitely problem statement at medical end. Have a good tie-up with Krishna Institute of Medical Science, and we have solved some problems with them. Okay, so I will share one by one and we'll go through that. Okay, so first thing is, this is the one of the beautiful project that last month we have completed. This is electric stretcher for patient transportation. Now this is Krishna Institute of Medical Science, wherein there's an old building, fifth store building, and they don't have a lift because it was one of the oldest building actually in the hospital. And they told me that there is a huge ramp over there. I will show the ramp. This is a ramp over there, and the degree is almost 30-35 degree. And
sorry for interruption, sir. Can you please click on hide of that pop-up which is appearing at the bottom of the presentation?
Yeah, just a second. Right, okay.
Click on hide. Yeah, it is okay.
Yeah, fine. Yeah. So this is the ramp that is available at Krishna Institute of Medical Science, and they told us the problem that pulling out the whole trolley or stretcher is very difficult for this hospital boys and all, and you please provide us the something which is electrically powered stretcher, so that we could easily transport from a patient who is at serious conditions from a particular floor to another floor. Now this was a problem statement, and then we started. So the total weight of the patient we consider as 120 kgs. So how much speed should be there? So we discussed a lot with the doctors and the nursing department. They told us like it should be a walking speed of human beings. So it was like 5 km/h. And accordingly, I calculated how much RPM is required. And then accordingly, the power calculations, considering the rolling frictions, slope, gradient, to vehicle dynamics calculation domain. And we developed something which is electrically powered. So the battery that we used is this thing, lithium-ion battery, and the motor was BLDC motor. So everything we tested at Krishna Institute of Medical Science, and it was excellently done with what was like proposed by us. And so here is a rear wheel is powered, and once we are like pushing it right or left with the handles, accelerator is properly given at the right side, and you can accelerate it to go with the maximum speed of 5 km/h, and you can reduce it to 0 also very easily. So the BLDC motor that we used was 2.5 kilowatt, and the battery that we use is 48 volt 80 ampere hour. So we tested at different terrains of it, ramp and horizontal roads. It is excellently working, and with a one charge it may go up to 3 hours because there is no flat road. There is always a ramp load, so it consumes a lot of energy over there, but it is fantastically done. So this is our first successful project, and definitely we are going for commercialization of this particular part now. So I'm expecting some questions, if any, in this particular field. So you may ask in between, and you can ask me questions anytime. Right? So should I go ahead?
Yes, sir. I think we can just take the questions in the question answer session,
Yeah,
if possible.
fine. No issue. So this is another project. This is ongoing project actually. Ankle foot orthosis. So different medical problems that we are getting now from Krishna Institute of Medical Science. This is one of them. This is especially for cerebral palsy patients. The patients who cannot walk, the basic reason that abnormality while having a birth, premature birth and all. The issue with this AFO is the current AFO is made of a polypropylene that you can see in the figure, white color body. But the strength is a major issue over here. So they told us the problem statement that can you increase the strength? So we thought of going ahead again, and then we thought of having a carbon fiber to be implemented over there. Now there is another option that we had was glass fiber, and the research is going on it also. Now this is the current practice that these people follow. With the present whatever the patient is coming over there, they wrap a cotton on his leg, they apply some plaster of Paris on it, they cut it down, and then whatever the size and shape that they get out of it, they measure it, and accordingly they send it to doctors, and doctors prepare this. But I will tell you, like, there are very few manufacturers are there. I mean, designing of this particular part is mostly not done in India, it is outside. And there is opportunity for all of us who are innovators, who are engineers actually, to develop this in India, to design this also part in the India. So we thought of a different angle, and what we can do, avoiding this huge procedure of design development. So we thought of something else. So I will tell you procedure wise, we took a leg of a patient, we 3D scanned it completely. And there is a software of Medi S3D. We got 14 days access of this particular software. And then we started working on this 3D scan leg over there. It tells you like what type of AFO you wanted over there. Then wrapping around the leg, the foot part and upright part is been properly designed over there. You can see in the 3 and 4 number. And in the 5th thing, that it converts into STL file format. And that STL file format we could 3D print. So 5th number you can see is a 3D printed upright part, and you can see in the 6th part, which is 3D printed foot, right? So once we got 3D printed things, we thought of having a lamination with the carbon fiber, and it actually gives a strength to that. Mostly carbon fiber lamination is done a very simple way of doing a perfect fabrication method is vacuum molding. So in this particular case, we use 3D printed part as a permanent mold because it is hollow from inside, it is lightweight, and just because of it is a permanent mold, we don't have to remove it outside, and that actually helps converting this a rare 3D printed model into laminated composite. And after the vacuum molding, we got the finished product. We are now in the assembly stage of that. And at the 10th part, you can see the testing samples for tensile testing and then fatigue testing of these particular samples. We are testing it now. So this is how like we are coming back to a new innovations now. Nobody is using carbon fiber laminated with 3D printed parts. And there is an option of having different 3D printed parts like PEP, polypropylene can also be used. PLA, right now I'm using PLA, which is biodegradable. There is another option you can use is ABS material. So this is how the technology is proving. Instead of going with the plaster of Paris and series of different processes, we avoided that completely. And this gives a pleasure for us to complete it within a few hours only to a finished product. So this is what AFO for you, right? We'll go further and we'll discuss about another project again given by Krishna Hospital. This is pressure apparatus for dental applications. We have been working with high pressure up till now, and now here is something which is vacuuming. So what we had to do in this particular case is, you can see in the teeth sample over there, this teeth sample, the doctor put a cement on it and they had to stick with another material actually. So they actually wish to glue something over there. And the research part is, once they put some cement over there, vacuuming is needed so that the air molecules present in it should get removed, so that the bonding should be proper. So this was the problem statement that we got. What is the pressure, negative pressure required for that? They also told us, and we gone through different literatures and we come to know that it is minus 0.1 megapascal. With this particular pressure, we could able to suck it down, and all the molecules, air molecules, should be removed out. So we purchased a vacuum pump, and little calculations, we selected a vacuum cup over there. We connected it using all pneumatic pipelines and all. So it is ready for dispatch to Krishna Hospital now. It is around like 21,000 cost. So this is how small projects sometimes we take. This boost of our confidence to go for a higher project, because experience that we gain from this particular small projects ultimately gives us to work on big projects, right? Another project I would to showcase is something which is again a dental product, but that is one of the smallest projects I have done up till now. This is something which is the jig for screwing inside of the arch. Now what actually happens is, you can see in the previous design part, wherein we have 3D scanned the jaw of a patient, and to the jaw we have to screw inside of the arch. In Marathi we call it as hirdi, and that is actually a bone, and in the bone we have to screw a very small part, and to give a proper shape to the jaw which is over there, we need to give a tension to that. So once we have tension properly given over there, the shape of a whole teeth comes in desired positions. So to give a tension, we need to put a screw and we need to put a rubber band over there, or sometimes it is metal bands are also being put it over there. To have a screw, we need to have X and Y coordinates, and these X and Y coordinates are being properly comes from 3D scan, X-ray data. So once we have X-ray data, they find the optimum position at which the screw can be fitted. Now the device that is there on my hand is just 1 inch by 1 inch actually, and we could able to fit into the teeth, properly clamp it, and I know the pitch of the screw, so I can rotate it and I can fix X and Y. And once the desired position comes over there, we could able to screw it over there. So even we are this kind of challenging project wherein very small devices are there. We are taking those challenges and we are completing that. So this is almost like 50,000 amount project, and it has been given to Krishna Hospital recently. Like we will go ahead because there is a very less time, and there is Professor Laute sir and Mullah sir is also presenting their own project over there. I will go ahead. This is multifunction walker for disabled child again. Again, the patient who has a cerebral palsy. Now, the biggest problem of this cerebral palsy patients is they cannot put their whole weight on the legs. And so what we need to have is a walker to be developed for them. So this is a walker we have developed considering their height, their width, and the other dimensions of the body. We fitted it properly, all wheels are there. And the most important thing over here, what we have added over there, in the shoes of the patient, we have inserted the load cells. These load cells actually measure how much weight the patient is putting. So meanwhile, like he's using this walker over the time, how much weight is increasing or how much weight he's putting on the legs is being calculated monthly, on the monthly basis or weekly basis. Also, there is we can calculate how much it is going far away. I mean, the starting point, how much distance is covering. We could able to note it down with the digital media. And the sensors are provided over there, encoders and all. It actually measures how much distance is covered, how much fast the style is going. So if a child is using this kind of walkers, is it really improving himself or herself? That we are checking in this with this particular walker. So it's an advanced one, and definitely I will say every product that I will explain today is having a commercial power over there, and I will definitely think of commercial, because there is a very less time as a faculty we need to think of this way also, like the project that we are doing for once in a month or once in a year, can we go for commercialization of this part? And definitely would like to invite some industries to share this technology, and we'll go for jointly sharing the profit also. Okay, so I will go with a few of the prototypes now. As you have seen the prototype of a stretcher before, electric power stretcher, we have developed a small part of it, small project, and we have incorporated all the electronics part. We have tested all the electronics part here itself. We are using DC motors inside, and so there is another advantage of this is like we are putting some collision detection capabilities over there. So there is a sensor provided, it detects the distance. So if the patient is being taken away on this particular stretcher, if something comes in front of it at 1 feet or 2 feet distance, it detects it and it stops over there. So so this is to avoid the accident over there, right? So prototype is done, over is submitted to Krishna Hospital again. There is another project that they told us, this is something which is called as articulator. So this articulator though is for those patients who don't have a teeth, and the dentist put all the teeth, jaws, upper jaw and lower jaw for them. To prepare this upper and lower jaw, they use articulator that you can see in the picture. They told us to add something into that, and that addition is nothing but spring-loaded string, which helps the jaws to place at particular locations. So this helped a lot, and this helped a lot to the dental doctors and all, so that the previous issues, what was there in the articulator, has been improved now. There is another improvement that is now going on in our institute is articulator with 6 degree of freedom simulation table that is called a Stewart platform, and it gives us 6 degree of freedom at the bottom and upper part of the articulator itself. So 6 degree of freedom, X, Y, Z, theta X, theta Y, and theta Z. All 6 degree of freedoms are possible to be accomplished at the bottom and upper part. So what actually happens is upper jaw and lower jaw can be arranged at the desired positions, just varying the knobs of X, Y, Z, theta X, theta Y, and theta Z. So this is the another development and innovative project that we are going ahead with articulator. Right, and third part, which is hand brace for physically damaged patients. What actually happens is most of the patients who suffer from accident, their bones are being completely crushed, and after the full treatment, medications and all, their hand actually improves a lot, but still there is very less sensation and less power. Actually, muscle power is there in their hands. To improve their muscle power and to have a good exercise with these muscles, they need to have what we need to have a device. So this is the device which is not actually available in the market, but this is one of the suggested project by physiotherapy department. They told us that it should be motor assisted. So we are using a stepper motor, and they told us there is exercise that from 0 to 30 degree or 0 to 45 degree, the patient should go for exercise. So stepper motors actually a correct motor which gives a particular angle what we desire, and it so we can set the angle, we can set the speed of it, and most important is accuracy is there. Because it is a slow process, taper motor's holding torque is sufficient for the rotation of it. So this product is also completed now, and we are ready to submit to Krishna Hospital. So we'll go ahead again because more interesting projects are there with us. This is actually, before I go for this, I wanted to tell you, this is one of the project, first time we are doing with Civil and Mechanical Department. There is a student of our Director Madam, Director Madam's student is there. She's working on concrete 3D printer, and I wanted actually suggestions from the alumni students that how much is the commercial value to this particular product as Indian market is concerned, because 3D printed, I know it's a boom actually, but we are doing some research on it since last 2 years, but we thought of something else now. It's concrete 3D printing. It is already available in different countries, but in India, there is huge need of this, and literally we did it at commercial level itself. There are few industries who are working on it, but we thought of initiating this particular practice of having our own 3D printer and having our own research domain in this particular area. So we started concurrently with Civil and Mechanical Engineering Department. This is what you can see is the extruder part that we have designed, and this is an extruder which has been the work is going on. These are the different parts of it. We're actually developing the 3D printer which may move in X, Y, Z direction, and there is another angle to that, that is this thing, extruding the whole concrete material to the downward direction. So at the end of the presentation, I'm expecting that please suggest us like how can we go with this particular idea for Indian markets mostly. Okay, and there are certain future projects are there where we are working with that. Cold compacted nano ceramic material for artificial teeth application. Now, just because of the teeth is an important part of our mouth, and now we are now the dentists are thinking of can we develop some artificial teeth, and at few locations it is, I mean, few countries that are developing this. Germany and UK already developed that. But now we are thinking of cold compacted nano ceramics now. At macro level, most of the research is already done, but nano level there is a need of going further. And this is recently funded by Krishna Hospital again of rupees 3,10,000, and we have started on working on it. There is another project that is modular compact houses using sandwich composite metal, and I'm happy to tell that this has been funded by one of the company headed by Mr. Ratan Pandey, the regional head and head of data analyst, AL and ML. This is his company, and a very interesting project. So we already had a meeting with him, and we discussed a lot on technical issues and all. So suddenly, like I started, I got an idea of like this. Can we use the sandwich composite into that? And he agreed on it. So in the next meeting, definitely we'll think of going ahead with this particular idea, and soon we are starting this particular project. So these are our upcoming future projects. We're also working on design and development of urinal system for public domains, because you all know the how the urinal system at public domains are and what is the condition of it. So this is one of the social projects, I will say. Looking at the scenario at the nearby industries around RIT, because there is a little bit recession at their end. They are not ready to give us the engineering projects right now. So like 1.5 years back, like we completely focus on industrial projects, but right now we are shifted to medical domain now. And because there are huge opportunity in this particular domain, because very few times the engineering and medical science people are coming together and sharing their knowledges, because as an engineer, like we have a full of logical knowledge, logical thinking and all, and that is actually needed in this particular project. So very interesting to work in this project, in this kind of projects. So finally, I would conclude with this. Before we go for question and answer, I would request Professor Mullah sir to share his one of the project, and then we'll go for final question and answers. Mullah sir, please. I will unshare myself.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are audible. Please go ahead.
Yes. Is it visible? Slide is visible?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, first of all, Raha Committee or Raha Hub for giving us the platform for presenting our presentation regarding this kit developed. Before that, at the outset, let me thanks to our alumni, Mr. J.V. SSS Prasad of 1994 batch. And this is the first project that we completed from the gratitude funds received from JVSS Prasad. And I'm happy to share that this is our first project, our Department of Mechanical Engineering first project, so which was completed from the funds received from the alumni. So hats off to the alumni who started this kind of trends in RIT, Department of Mechanical Engineering. And along with this, I am thankful to the head of the department for permitting us. So with the proposal that we sent to him, immediately when the news came from the alumni in charge that the funds are there for development of the lab equipments. So immediately that idea triggered in our mind, and proposal has been submitted to this one. And immediately we got sanction of the amount for creating this particular important thing, which is not available in the laboratory of Department of Mechanical Engineering. So we developed this particular kit, and the idea is to demonstrate the use of PLC along with servo motor or servo system to. So that was our objective, and this kind of kit was not available in the institute, and that's why we were thinking of this and completing this project. So we started working on this, and we come out with this exciting or this kind of kit in front of you, which is available there, and we got excellent results from this one. So here, what I think is that, so if the things are like this and there is a scope for doing something, the faculties can do wonderful work and supported by all other faculties. It is not that nothing can be happen, but only thing is required, the motivation and the support from other faculties, wonders will be happen. So that is our experience here. So the total cost of this project is 79,000. Out of this, some contribution received from the alumni, and we could able to complete this successfully. And this project is now ready to demonstrate the various concepts of PLC programming, then servo motor, the tuning of the servo motor, how it is done, then various circuits which can be there, and hands-on for all this will be done. So that's why modular type of circuit design has been proposed in this particular kit. Student can pin up the different circuits there as per the circuit diagram, and they try to understand the basic functionality of the servo mechanisms and how the servo works and how the servo responds to the circuit that is input dial given here. So that was our aim, because what we found earlier that the students are not getting the concept of servo mechanism clearly understood. So that was our experience, and based upon that we started working on this particular project. So there are many projects that can be done like this, and this is the only starting here. So I'm very happy to share this particular with all of you. So because as a part of our alumni, so here we use the components from the Delta Electronics Delta motor, 400 watts with a servo drive, that is ASDA B2, then Delta PLC, that is transistor type, and various kinds of inputs, switches, potentiometer, and all these things. So basic aim is to showcase the motion control parameters using the position, then torque and speed control, and students can learn their tuning of the servo motor and commissioning of this, because the tuning part is very important in this, and the parameter setting of the servo is very much essential based upon the different types of requirements from the load side. So that can be very well demonstrated by this particular kit. Then of course PLC programming can be also learned from this one, how PLC program can be given to respond to the servo motor or servo system. And of course, so
Mullah
setting
sir,
up this. Yes,
I will interrupt you. Your screen is not shared.
screen is not shared. Okay.
Please share it again.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yes. So our aim is to demonstrate all these things. The student can learn about tuning of the servo motor, commissioning of this, then PLC programming part of this, then servo motor, different modes of the servo motor, speed, position, torque, control, and servo motor control using the PLC. That was the aim of this, and we can very well demonstrate with this particular kit. So I'm happy to share all this thing with you. I'm just requesting Professor S.A. Laute to continue further. Okay. So over to Laute, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Here you can see one use case we have set up. So here you can see a PLC is connected to the servo drive, which will drive the servo motor, and the ball screw is attached to the servo motor so that student can understand different mechanical and electromechanical concepts, like how we can position the any particular tool or any certain object with the help of ball screw connected to the servo motor, and how to give proper signals from the PLC. So here the position control using PLC concept is demonstrated. So from this you can see a student can supposed to do, he has to connect all these wirings according to the diagram. Then he has to write a code for the PLC. Then second one is he has to do proper settings for the servo drive. So there should be a compatibility between PLC and the servo drive, and then he has to run that program to obtain a particular positioning. So this is the one use case we have demonstrated here. And as Mullah sir said that we can control position, speed, then torque, and we can obtain various combinations of these using this kit. So next one is I will show you a small video we have prepared of that.
Yeah. Lotus, as we are running out of time, so request you to please brief in short so that we can go for the question answers.
Yes, this video is already circulated in all the alumni groups.
Okay. So that video is here, so I can skip that video. Yeah. So this is all. Okay.
Okay, sir. Wait. There are number of applications for this. So lot many applications are for this one. For lifting, we can use the scissor type of knives. So there are many industrial applications for this one. So also. So I'm happy that this kit will demonstrate many things to the students, and it is very useful for the laboratory. So we made this particular kit from that perspective, and we are happy that this is available right now in the laboratory. Thank you. This is from our side. If any questions are there, welcome from your side.
Yeah, great presentations, Mullah sir, Avte sir, and Lokesh Patil sir. So it was a wonderful innovation work is going on at RIT. So we are happy to see these presentations. So we are having one question from Mr. Uday Patil.
Yes.
That are you for the Lokesh Patil sir? Are you going to print four-leg model as a single part, or they will be joined together? How do you tackle flexibility at ankle?
Okay, like there are two types of AFOs are there. One is fixed one, where there is no joint between the upright and the foot part. Another case, there is a flexible joint, the spring-loaded part. So right now, first case we are doing, which is flexible one, wherein the spring will be provided at the joint of it, and this spring actually may be used as compression spring, or can be used as coil spring also, and it brings back the leg to its original shape, so that a gait cycle can be improved at the end. In another case, it is fixed one. Like Srinidhi, Mr. Srinidhi, can you just unmute? Yeah, okay. So in other case, there is fixed one in which the upright and the foot part is one piece only, and we don't have to give hinge part at the toe portion. Yeah, I hope.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So
Thank you,
one
Lokesh
question.
Patil.
So
I
one
think-
question from me.
Yeah.
So is there any indicator that battery consumption regarding battery, whether the batteries, the percentage of battery usage,
Yeah.
is there any alarm or indicator or something like that in this?
It is there, sir. It is there. So this is Bluetooth connected actually.
Okay.
There is an app which is given to the operator, and he
Okay.
could able to see how much percent of battery is there, and it is Bluetooth operated. But they're saying that it should be also to be displayed on the stretcher hand, so that anybody can see, even if the operator doesn't have the mobile in his hand, he could able to see how much percentage it is. So this is the next suggestion what they have given to us. So we are providing them soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Srini Session, you have raised hand. Do you want to ask any question?
Yes, Professor Lokesh, this is Srini.
Your voice is very low, actually.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Professor Lokesh, this is Srini Session here.
Yeah.
I'm working in the air cargo industry, and as you know, I'm working actually in the city of Dubai, where there are a lot of human remains movement. Human remains are basically dead bodies, which are actually of expats, which are actually taken out of the country to send it back to their loved ones. And we had a peculiar issue here where these coffins come stacked in the ambulance, one above the other. And I'm actually thankful to RIT, because I'm a product of RIT, that I was able to design a similar kind of a lift equipment, something similar to that of the stretcher itself. So that's why the question was that but what we have fabricated was using mild stainless steel, and a lot of these were crude design, I would say, because it was primarily to use only for the lift portion of it. There's no traction in it. So all the batteries that we had was actually used for lifting the stretcher to a height that it can be used to lift transfer coffins at the second level. So my question is that does this have any kind of lift capacity, lift feature in it? To what height can it lift? And because these coffins have to be X-rayed, they need to bridge at a height of from the ground level. They need to lift it up to a height of 1 meter, and then only it can be transferred onto the in-feed conveyor of the X-ray machine. So my question is, does this have a lift feature? And what kind of safety precautions would need to be done? Because in this stretcher, probably it will not be having rollers, but these coffins would need rollers to be, shifted from the ambulance to the. I don't know what you have branded it as, or electric stretcher, or what kind of it, but we called it as coffin handler.
Yeah.
That was the
Okay.
first question. Okay. And the second one is related to that, I couldn't gather that name, that prosthetic leg that you had.
Yeah.
I have
AFO.
some
AFO.
thoughts on that. AFO. Okay. This is the first question. You would want to answer it, or do I have this? Can I give you the second question also?
I will answer your first question, sir.
Right. Okay.
Okay. There is a lift. I can raise my height of the upper part of my stretcher up to 2 feet. Right. I can increase it up to 2 feet now. So there is a scissor mechanism provided over there. If I will share that screen over there. Just a second. If you see this, there is a hydraulic cylinder which is provided over. This is manually operated. I mean, you can use your foot to press it forward direction. It goes up. To the reverse direction, if you go anti-clockwise, it again goes down. So there is a lift provided so that we could able to adjust the stretcher height with the bed that is available in the Krishna Hospital. So with coming to your question, yes, we can go up to 1 meter height or more than that also, but we need to go for next stage of scissor mechanism. If you could go with that, definitely it can achieve 1 meter height. There is another problem statement to be linked with this stretcher. They wanted the patient to be shifted from stretcher to the bed. Actually, it is a very difficult project because center of gravity is completely shifting, but we have a solution of that right now. And in the next stage, we are working on it. The problem statement that you have is almost similar to that. So if you can extend this particular project for your application, maybe we need to do some little more R&D over there, and both the problems, that shifting of a patient and a lifting of a patient, can be done over here.
Thank you. What I'll do is I will share with you the drawings that we had prepared. This was done actually a decade back. It is more than a decade back what we had done. So
Yeah.
I will not sorry decade. It was 5 years old product. I will share with you the drawings, and then maybe we can work on it, because what we want is a permanent solution, and we need to take it up to a height of 2 meters, because the coffins get stacked in an ambulance which is dedicated only for these kind of, become stacked around 4 or 5 coffins one inside the other. So and it is, because it is air transported, they have a different kind of packing, as we call it. So it's got pegs in it. So I'll share with you my problem statement as well as the drawings and what we have fabricated. And maybe we can think on developing something more for better out of it, because we would need roller beds and not these kind of beds which are actually, because it's a coffin. That is one.
You please share your design specifications with us.
Okay.
Would like to help you, sir. Yeah.
Right. So the second question is that of that AFO. Usually, I was just interested in kind of developing a kind of a product which can be used basically for skull protection. Maybe you can extend this, especially the old people when they go. They have a usually fear that they fell inside a bathroom or they tripped over, and the rear side of the brain is what gets affected. So it could be a kind of a permanent cap on them, which could be easy to wear, and helmets are the ones which is actually basically an extension of the purpose of helmet itself, which is to protect your skull. But this is basically to have protection against fall, and which could usually they experience it in bathroom, or when they trip over because of their losing of their balance. So this was my interest field. If you can also think on those lines, maybe you need any support or help, I could just help you out with that.
Yeah, I can. The idea can be extended for that. Just we need to change the size and shape as per the. I mean, almost it will look like a helmet kind of thing. Could save the old people maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it one that you are working on? It's not like a helmet I'm looking at. I'm kind of a headband kind of a thing which can be easily worn, and then a cap on top of it, or at any point in time it can be worn and easily removed. This is something that I was thinking on.
Yeah, it's possible, sir, because of we have a technology of 3D scans and all. Customized bands, such kind of bands can be made so that the patient can wear it, he could able to walk. Even if it falls down, we could think of how much impact it could produce, and accordingly we can design the laminated composite over there.
Is it something worth to look at, Professor?
Yeah, possible, sir. We need to go ahead with this particular kind of ideas.
Right. Okay. So how do I get in touch with you for this? Maybe anybody can help me out with the email.
Yeah,
ID or-
yeah, Mr. Session, that's what we asked, your contact details.
Right.
Our RA team will bridge the gap between you and our RIT faculty.
Okay.
Ramesh, I have the contact of Srini.
Okay, fine. No issue.
So I will exchange the contact numbers of Lokesh to Srini and Srini to Lokesh.
That's great. So, as it's 10:30, I request Mr. Manzu Mirza to conclude session.
Okay, thank you very much for joining. Today's session, actually, it was a very, very fantastic session because all the three members of mechanical engineering department had given a very nice presentation. They have presented their innovative ideas, and in first session also, you all have appreciated a lot, and this time also, I think the response was very good. Very nice question answer session was there. So, friends, actually, the idea behind presenting all those projects is, if you see the cost for that project, actually, as a part of this consultancy, which is required for actually learning of the students as well, but it is sometimes the need of some committees. For that also, it is required. So for that, we are doing it at very, very reasonable or very low cost. Now the further step, it may be our alumni can take any of the project from it, and it can be multiplied or multi-scale. So if you go for the actually commercialization of it, it will really help to the actually new startups as well as for the institute. So once again, thank you very much, all of you, for attending the session. Few new members also joined us today, Abhijit and other Vijay Mane. A lot of people were there. Srini was there, and we expect the same support in future also. I'm very much thankful to Abid Mullah sir, Lokesh Patil sir, and Sheetal Laute sir for this presentation. So we together, students, alumni, and institute, can grow fast, grow better, and we can help each other and form a strong network which will definitely lead to the success of everybody. Thank you very much.
Manzoor, I have one point with Lokesh. Whether these are being presented to other industrialists and all, because that kind of a platform we can provide through our business forum to have an introduction. Like in my contact, few hospitals are there, few doctors are there, dentals and all. So there we can introduce and we can see for commercialization of this.
Yeah, definitely welcome with this particular idea, sir, and we'll definitely contact you because there is the shortage of time and all, because the projects are in a queue right now, and we are totally busy in working with those customized projects. So we'll definitely think of meanwhile, like how can we, each project is a commercial value actually. So we'll think of one by one and we'll go to that particular industry type wherein they would be interested in one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And one more announcement. Actually, as you know, in RIT we are going to celebrate the Silver Jubilee batch get together. So actually, this year we are combining the two for 1995 batch actually, and another one is the 1996 batch, 96 batch. So I appeal all the alumni, actually along with the senior cities. So any alumni can join in this meeting, but specially it is for 1995 batch and 1996. And for those two batches, mechanical, automobile, civil as well as electronics was there. So this is my appeal to all of you to join us on 14th of August. Actually, it will be conducted in both online as well as offline mode because we don't have any idea about the situation at that time. But definitely, those who can come, they can come physically to the college, and if not, definitely you can join on online mode. So, everybody will be welcome there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
all.
sir.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you,
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good night and take care.
Ramesh sir, do you have a minute time?
Yeah, please.